If you have been quoting up till now, let's dive into quoting really quick. So you can now create quotes and leads. And I feel the process is vastly enhanced in a lot of ways. So first off, if you know a customer is in the system, so first off, I had put in a zip code that is not in the system. So it gave me the warning there. You can first off just easily search for existing customers and give them a quote based on previous information that you've collected. So you don't have to, I mean, that was available before, a little bit easier. You can select from multiple addresses, and you can also give different quotes for different types of work that you provide. So you could quote commercial cleaning, if you're doing carpet and upholstery, all of those would be available as quotes. At this time, you can only quote what we call one scope group at a time, but eventually the plan would be to eventually create even more detail level that you can quote multiple scopes at the same time. You can now quote multiple types of service in one scope at the same time. So I'm going to look at a general cleaning versus a quote by square footage, because both of those are available now within Made Central. When you hit next here on this page, everything saves. So you can go back to the original profile page here with these are called breadcrumbs on the left here, and go backwards, or at the bottom of your quote, you can always use the back button and go back a step if you need to within the process. So if we're quoting by rooms, we're going to have a room log that's created, and you don't need to, if you haven't quoted with Made Central, this is actually very powerful in the software that you don't have to ask them all the rooms that they have. Like basically it's creating it by the questions you ask and the way that you've set the quoting tool up. So 2,100 square feet home, 3-bedroom, let's change it to, let's change a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, 2.5-bath house, and then 2 floors. The reason you might want to collect floor data is because there might be stairwells that are created. So for every floor, there might be another stairwell that you might want to have to clean. You can have any of your own questions that affect pricing. These are all things you can set up yourself. So how many people are in the house, how many pets, how dirty is the home? You can have like some objective measure that changes the pricing. There are various fields that you can create here to create as much customization as you want for your pricing. If you are quoting by rooms, you can always add rooms. And then the next step when you're quoting by rooms is questions, factors. So these are the rooms for the general quote. And then below that would be if you have any cleaning extras that you want to add, things like that you've created, like an oven, windows, all of those sort of things. Any discounts or promo codes you've created, you don't have to type those in. You can just apply them from a drop-down menu here. And then if you're quoting by square foot, really, there's nothing else really to do. It basically created the square footage pricing based on the production rates that you've created. So quoting by square feet, the only question that's affecting pricing in this example is this box here. And if you're quoting by square feet, you can even remove all of these questions. However, even if I was quoting by square foot, I might still ask these, because these, when you put these numbers in, these actually get applied to the work order notes for your technicians. So even though they don't necessarily affect pricing, you might want to capture them if you are quoting by square feet. So there's so many options that you can choose. I'm not going to be able to cover every possible scenario that you could create, but the general idea of this is that you're creating a production time that is accurate for your company based on the quoting. So Made Central is all about basically giving you the allowed hours that are accurate for your cleaning. So if I adjust the square footage in this example, both of them will be adjusted. So we went from 3.3 or 3.2 to 3.3 now, and we went up slightly here. So these may not be completely dialed in. They're just examples, but I can go ahead and give this person a quote. and I could give them the single price, which could be a deep clean, or I could even have a whole nother line here, which would be my deep clean pricing or my top to bottom deluxe pricing, whatever you call it. You can be quoting multiple line items here for every customer. At this point, let's say you don't have the sale. They're not ready to book, but you want to go ahead and give them pricing. You can go ahead, send them the quote, and you can send them quoting pricing for every frequency that you provide. So weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly, or every 4 weeks, I suppose. And you could even, if this was your deep clean price, or if there was another line item here, you could have another line item here called deep clean pricing and pick a price. So I'm just going to just show you the example here where you're sending them a quote. And this is an editable template in the templates of Made Central. So if you're not aware, under templates, I'll show you where to find this particular template. But we've noted this. The order of these needs to be in the same order every 2 weeks, every week, and every 4 weeks. That'll be adjusted. So they're getting every price. The reason that on the left there's a first job price versus a recurring price is perhaps you had add-ons that were only on the first job and you don't have those add-ons on other jobs. The other thing is all of this is editable. So if you wanted just to remove this column completely from your quote, you could remove that column completely from your quote and just send them the numbers on the right if you liked. The last feature of this is that if they are booking with you, or if they're not ready to book now, but they're going to talk it over that night with their spouse or their roommates or whoever you're selling to, you're sending the quote, and if you include this book now functionality, they can finish their quote anytime, and it'll pull up their unique quote with their information that was provided. And it'll allow them to schedule 24/7. So even if you haven't really fully adopted online sales, you could adopt the idea of giving them the quote in your office and giving them the ability to finish their quote whenever they would like. So then the final thing is, before we could send that or not send that, if we send it, we can stop the process here, save the quote, and finish. The other thing is, let's say you don't really like this 202 price. You want it to be 210 or something like that. So you can adjust the price here to round up. So say 62. Okay, so I'm getting close now, 6201 or something like that. Almost 02. You can do a little bit of backwards math and get this 19. There we go. So you can make slight adjustments to this, but the most important thing, again, in Made Central up to this point, is to get the production rate right, and then you can adjust the price by adjusting the bill rate that you're charging per hour. Quoting for the purposes of capturing data. The next screen is capturing information that would be at the home level of the customer here. So you can capture preferences. This is now going into the database, but we aren't showing this yet. You can also capture their preferred times. That is going into the database and would set rules that if you're not meeting those times, it would create warnings. Eventually, we're capturing this data so that if they said that they want to be on Wednesdays and Tuesdays, and let's say they're a customer that some companies basically move customers around if they're monthlies, you could get warnings eventually for if you're not meeting a day of the week preference as well. All of these notes would carry over to the home level. Collect a credit card from this screen as well. If they're existing customers, you can search for that and link them up. Scheduling is the immediate controls right now are to, oh, cool. We added this on the build last night. So the immediate controls are that you're looking for either revenue or hours of availability. And we'll get into this as we're setting this up. But with revenue production planning within Made Central, you can, if you have yours set up properly, you can know exactly how many available hours you have to sell on any given day. And so in this example, we know that this is a 3 hour and 22 minute job. So we're just looking for a day where we've got 3 hours and 22 minutes available. If we wanted to really dial in and find the exact place for them, we might use, there'll be some additional controls in the future. Right now, we just suggest opening up your either schedule efficiency map or your master schedule to kind of find the perfect spot for them. And might be nice to show the zone that they're in here as well. That might be a nice little feature. So pick a date, pick a time, pick a team, and that's kind of the initial control on scheduling here. You can save this and quote, or just at this point, if you're not ready to book, you've gone through all of this, but they're not ready to go through the final process, you can go ahead and just save the quote. So team not scheduled, save quote. So I've saved a quote. You can come back to it and start the process all over again with them. It'll show you the frequency that they were interested in.